Open your mind.
Hey out there, this is Buzz with the Survival Buzz. So it seems the International Day of Rage is slowly coming to an end. And it does seem like at this point that not a lot crazy, at least here in the United States, has happened. I think there was a stabbing and, of course, the protests and things, but that's to be expected anyways. But nothing too crazy has happened so far. But it really amazed me how many people are behind the curve as far as knowledge goes to things like this. You know, the prepper community, I've been hearing about this stuff for days. But yesterday, my wife came to me and said that she had friends calling her and asking if she'd heard of this. And of course, she's like, yes. And then, of course, people start freaking out. Should I call into work? This and that. But totally uninformed to the last moment. And when I was leaving my work yesterday, I work in a big building, and I had one of the higher ups come to me when I was riding the elevator with him at the end of the day, asked me, he didn't know how informed that they kept us on things, but was I aware of tomorrow being of high concern, basically having a watchful eye. And I said, nobody had informed me, but I was aware of it. And all day long, we did our diligent duty and a little bit here and there extra, walking around and things to make sure everything was in working order. Nothing crazy happened. But it really made me start thinking about how publicly they came out and called for this day of rage to be today, when the reality of there being sleeper cells and things here in the United States, what if it was a call to something else? What if it wasn't being literal that it was today? What if that started the countdown to what was going to happen? And it seems that especially Americans are the type that, you know, they need a date. It's the end of the world's going to happen now, and it keeps getting pushed forward. You know, the outage of 2000 that was supposed to happen, you know, the Mayan calendar, it's always something. So people need a date. And I honestly think the majority of people, after being terrified and biting their nails all day about today and nothing really happening, I think that makes everybody drop their guard even more. And I honestly think that's what they want, the powers that be. Everything they do is to confuse us, to make us worried to death and then not worried to death. You know, all these things, all these terror attacks, all this war, all these pandemics, all of this stuff is orchestrated. It's orchestrated, and it's a big soap opera for the masses to see. It's honestly just conditioning. You see how well the pandemic did and got people siding one side or the other, whether they believed in the mask thing or the shot thing or whatever it may be. They had people divided. And then now you have this false flag, if you want to call it that, day of rage. Crazy stuff supposed to happen. Nothing really happened, right? So I believe it's just a way to get everybody to drop their guard. I'm not saying that I know for sure something's going to happen, but I honestly think it's going to be a few weeks in the future. After everybody's dropped their guard and they're like, oh, nothing ever happened and this and that. I honestly think the American people are a lot more vulnerable than they want to admit. And it's just a way to wear us down, you know. First it was the toilet paper thing and food outages and everything else. Pretty soon everybody just throw a blind eye to it. They think, well, it's not really going to happen. It was all just horror porn and to make us worry. When the reality of it is they're just slowly whittling away at how you feel about things, getting you used to things. And I'm here to say you better be preparing with everything you got. Just because nothing crazy happened today doesn't mean it's not going to happen in the future. And like I said, what if it was a call to arms for specifically today, but that was really just telling all the sleeper cells when to actually do it, you know, 2 weeks from today or 3 weeks from today or whatever, activating this whole thing. So I wouldn't drop my guard. I wouldn't live in terror. I wouldn't not live my life like you normally would. But, you know, look over your shoulder a little bit more. Stay armed. You know, I took I have a sub 2000 fold up rifle that I took today to work, just in case. I'd rather have it and not need it, but with all the terror attacks and things going on in the world and possibly here in the United States, you know, if they're bringing rifles to the game, you're outmatched if all you want to rely on is a pistol. Um, you know, a sidearm, a pistol is merely just to get you to a rifle to better defend yourself. And I know, depending on your situation, where you work, where you live, having a rifle on call is easier said than done. But being able to get something like I have, a fold-up rifle that, you know, the same magazines that go in my sidearm go in my rifle as well. So it at least gives me a better advantage in a firefight if somebody is bringing a rifle to the game. So don't drop your guard. Always be armed. Always have alternate routes out of the place you're going, especially in the city, because traffic gets clogged up or you hit a construction you don't know is there, and it can change the whole game. So God bless y'all, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Later.